How you doing, Jeff?
Hey, I'm doing all right, Nikki.
Jeff Kiesler, Meisler, Bird,
Whistler.
Meisler, Budweiser. You a Budweiser drinker?
I have had a one or two in my time.
One or two in your time. How would you recommend Budweiser? Like one to 10. How would you give them?
I mean, it's a
Or 1 to 10.
one
you
to
would say
it's a go. It's an easy go-to domestic.
domestic.
I mean, I'm more of a Coors person myself.
Coors?
I'll
What's your go-to drink?
go-to
Like if you're
non-beer?
like any drink and any alcoholic, any special
Okay, like a
apple
default?
juice. Yeah,
A default's gonna be probably like a rum and coke.
rum and
I'm
coke.
a rum drinker.
Oh,
So I will
look at you
listen to more
go.
rum.
We got
Let's drink
expired and
expired Coke.
expired Coke. I say expired, but it's just empty. So, how you been?
I've been okay.
How's your day been?
It's been good. I shot a commercial this morning, so now I'm filming here with you.
There we
So
go.
It's a good film day.
What was the commercial for?
It was a Vogler Ford commercial.
Oh,
So
they said we want Jeff Kiesler Bird.
yes, I've done a few with them in the past.
Oh wow! Did you do one with Tim Robinson?
He was there. We were not in the same commercial together. We were filming separate ones, but he was there.
Was it a paid gig or was it
Oh
just?
yeah, you get a little compensation for your time, so that's always fun.
Oh, that's good. So what's like your main source of income, like main job?
My quote unquote day job, I guess, is at the Pavilion in Marion, Illinois. It's the city's event center. We do all different types of things, from weddings to banquets to trade shows and things like that.
Trade show. What's a trade show?
Trade show is like
For the audience members, definitely for the audience
definitely
members.
for the audience members, and
Not for me.
Not for Nicholas.
No.
there. A trade show is like a vendor show where
Oh,
people will
I've been to a few
come
rock
in.
ones.
Sometimes they're focused on specific type of items, like a boat show or hunting
Okay.
and fishing show.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
all vendors geared towards that type of demographic. Other times it's just like local businesses selling their wares.
Okay. So what do you do? What do you do at the pavilion?
My official title is administrative assistant, but I'm basically the office manager and event kind of coordinator.
So what all does
All that
that
entails,
entitle?
basically managing the day-to-day operations of the facility, scheduling events, getting setups for events, organizing when they're coming in, what they need from us, making sure all their paperwork's up to date, collecting payment, all that fun office-y things.
All the fun day-to-day
Right.
desk office jobs.
Yes.
So what's I've been told that you're kind of a Disney person. I think I've gotten a few first-hand experiences from it.
It's a secret little hobby of mine. I enjoy the parks more than like the movies and things themselves, but I do enjoy like going down to Florida specifically and doing a little getaway weekend and browsing around the theme parks and eating and drinking and partaking.
So you're just kind of
in
like
things.
doing everything there.
Right. Yeah.
So what is it like about like Disney in general that attracts you, like gets you there going multiple times a year,
I think-
making a Disney account for on Instagram?
Right. They like to keep things fresh. Like, it's not a stagnant park. They're always, throughout the year, they're always doing something different or releasing a new item or food, and there's a lot of a variety of options that you can enjoy more than just your standard run-of-the-mill theme park.
I feel like that's kind of like the main thing about entertainment. I mean,
Yeah.
you mean you know firsthand
Yeah.
about entertainment,
I've
keeping
worked
something
in
new.
the entertainment field since, well, our first production I did was in kindergarten, so most of my life at this point.
What was that production in kindergarten?
I did, my very first show was Willy Wonka, and I was an Oompa Loompa in kindergarten.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of look like an Oompa Loompa.
Oh, gee.
Just dye your hair a little.
My hair's been green before.
It has. For what?
Just for, I went through a phase.
I've scrolled through your Facebook. I've seen your
High
little
School
face.
Jeff was kind of a trip. So.
Would you ever bring back High School Jeff?
Not to the full extent. Probably.
What does the full extent
Full extent
entitle?
A lot more black and a lot more grunge.
Grunge. That's a word to use, grunge.
That's a word, yes.
So back to like the whole entertainment thing.
Yeah, the entertainment industry. Yes, we like the entertainment
Yeah.
industry.
So what all like does entertainment industry include for you personally?
For me, well, it centered and still centers mostly around live theater and the stage. And enjoy that. And I've started with like the acting side for a number of years, and then I branched out into more of the behind the scenes things with technical
Yeah.
and producing and directing and stage management, and I found I really really enjoyed that.
I mean,
And
like
so-
this past year, knowing past year and a half, I don't know how long it is.
Right.
I've mostly only seen you behind the scenes, except for like Rocky or when you have to stand in for someone for like Hunchback or things like that.
Yeah.
So
And that's the majority of what I do these days. I'll find my way onto the stage every now and then, but my primary focus is usually behind the scenes and on the production side of things, and I enjoy that a lot. I enjoy seeing something start from nothing and come together piece by piece, and that seeing that finished project come into being. And that also translates well to my day job, because I do a lot of stage management on the stage, and then now I translate into the office setting, and I'm basically the stage manager of events. My day job. So.
Well, I think that's kind of like a good thing, because you always have like the chance working behind the scenes might pay the bills, but you also always have the chance to actually perform on stage if you want.
Yeah.
Like you were just in Dracula a few months ago.
Yeah, I did Dracula with the stage company here in Carbondale, and that was one of my first times back on stage in something that wasn't just Rocky.
Yeah.
In a while. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to play a different character.
I think you fit that character really well.
Thank you.
So who would you play in that?
Yes.
Who would you play in Dracula?
Dracula. I mean, that was the role I wanted, honestly. Like that was the role. Reading the script, there's a lot of different versions of Dracula out there, and with that particular script, that role stood out the most.
Which role?
The Renfield.
Renfield.
Renfield was who I played. Dracula's acolyte.
Because I mean, like you said, a lot of times I only see you do stuff is just Rocky most of the time.
Yeah, I was Southern Illinois. We do a production of Rocky Horror every year.
Yeah.
And I've done the narrator role for the past 4 years. We've done it 11 years now, and for the past 4 years.
Oh my gosh! Hang on. I forgot. I grabbed something.
Uh-oh.
Oh goodness me! Yeah, rip it off my wall.
Okay.
I forgot to add Rocky, guys.
Yeah, add Rocky.
Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky.
Oh
yes.
my goodness
It's
gracious!
been a staple of the Southern Illinois theater community.
Oh
for
my
the past
god!
11 years.
I feel embarrassed. I feel embarrassed.
12 years, but we had to take a year off for COVID. But we've done 11 live stage productions of it, and I've been a part of every one of those except for 1 year. I took 1 year off.
Why'd you do that?
I wanted to watch it. I never actually just sat in the audience and watched it.
I think that's always good, you know.
So I did that 1 year, but whether it was either on stage or stage managing, or 1 year I ran lights for it and did lighting for it. I've been involved in every Rocky production, minus I think it was 2018. It was the year I took off. But
like in 2018, that's the year my brother graduated. I know you really wanted to know that, but
hot take.
It is. Shane Vale graduated FCHS 2018. Now everyone knows. And he's probably going to text me and be like, why did you post that? And I'll be like,
Everyone's vigorously Googling right now.
Everyone's vigorously Googling right now, Shane. Your little Magic the Gathering YouTube channel is about to pop off. Just you wait.
Oh.
But, like, back to the whole, like, behind-the-scenes thing, thing. So I know you said that, like, you love seeing a production go from nothing to amazing or whatever it is.
Right.
What about, like, that pulls you in?
Seeing that process going, you start at auditions, and you never know who you're going to get, which can sometimes be very nerve-wracking. But then you see them come in and play, and you play and vie for these different characters, and it's really like a puzzle when you're casting. And seeing those pieces kind of come into place and fit together.
Yeah.
And then finally getting that cast set and just seeing them grow and get to know their characters and evolve throughout the rehearsal process. And there are maybe times where you think, oh my god, what am I doing? This is never going to work.
Yeah.
This is never going to work. Like, we are way over our head. And then there's always that one point, whether it's the first dress rehearsal or sometime during tech week or whenever. But there's always that one point where everything just kind of clicks.
Yeah.
And you never know when it's going to come. but you always just have to have faith that it will come.
And then it just
and it always
happened.
has. Like, it's
Yeah.
never, like, not come, happened.
Even if it takes
Even
like
the
a 2 a.m. rehearsal or
right,
something
even
like
the
that.
most stressful shows and things that I've worked on that I've wanted to quit so many times during the process, but I stuck it out. Like, there's always been that one moment that clicks. And
Yeah.
you're watching the rehearsal, you're watching a group of actors do something, and you just stand back and be like, there it is.
There
And
it
it's
is.
a great feeling.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling.
I feel
you're
like-
proud for them.
Yeah.
It's not just you're proud of the work that you brought to the
You're
stage.
proud of the
You're
whole
proud
thing.
of the whole project.
Yeah.
You're proud of,
Because I know me, I've personally have a lot more experience on stage.
Right.
I mean, I've had a few behind stage stuff, like working for tech for Beauty and the Beast, like working behind the scenes, or helping direct some of my school shows when I was in high school.
Right.
I think it's also for everyone, especially actors and behind the scene people, because it just kind of, you can just tell everything's clicked, like you said, and it's just an amazing, really an amazing feeling.
Like, you just...
We have a show.
Yeah, you step in, that's exactly what you say. You're like, we have a show. And then after that moment, you're just like, oh, I can't wait for audiences to see this.
I
Can't
think
wait to share this
Yeah.
with the community and with...
it isn't exactly like, especially for Rocky. I feel like Rocky, you guys kind of have it down because it's
There's
you
a
guys,
template for Rocky that we've kind of perfected, and
after 11 years, you kind of have made one. And I feel like you end up having that moment, but I feel like especially for cast members, which you are a part of all the time as the narrator, I feel like just in general, after your first show, you're like, for especially new first timers like me, after the first show, you're like, oh wow.
Yeah, a lot of times that first performance is that click moment, because Rocky is unlike... It's not your traditional theater experience.
You rely on the audience.
Rare. It's not your traditional theater experience in the audience or on the stage.
Yeah.
It's a totally different game
Yeah.
and a ball you're playing there. And so a lot of times, if you're on the stage, until you hear that audience feedback,
It just doesn't feel like something right.
You're like, what is missing? And then you hear the screams in the crowd.
Yeah.
And
them calling you, calling you the worst things on
there. They're
there.
gonna shoot at you, and you're just like, oh, okay, this is
This is
what we're doing. All right, game on.
and then it's like after the first show, but then you have a whole second show at midnight, and that crowd is just 15 times more.
9 times out of 10, they're a whole nother level than the first.
And it was just, I remember this year was my first time being in Rocky. I watched it the year before, and I was like, wait, we call them that? We say that to them? Oh, okay.
And
yada yada yada, and then being on stage, hearing it, being someone telling you yada yada yada, it's like, oh.
And that's also what's great about doing Rocky consistently throughout the years, is that we've been able to introduce this cult classic to so many new and younger audiences that didn't know what the show was about or anything like that, and then they become fans themselves.
Yeah, it's great. So going back and seeing it a second time, and then you're like, I have all this stuff prepared. I'm ready to do it. Especially like,
it's a generational show that's lived on now. Where they just celebrated, I think, 50 years since it originally came out. So
yeah, because did the movie come out first, or did the musical?
The musical technically was first. Richard O'Brien wrote the show as a stage show first, and then Tim Curry came on board, and both of them kind of worked to film.
My favorite, personally, let's take a swing at Tim Curry. My favorite role he's played is in the Barbie Nutcracker. He played the Rat King. Personally, it was a voice role.
Yes.
And that personally is one of my favorite. I also love Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Yes, very good. Home Alone 2.
But back to
Clue is probably one of my favorites.
Oh, I forgot about Clue.
Yeah.
That's number 3. That'll be number 3.
There you go.
But and then him as Frankfurter's bottom of the list.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I love you, Tim Curry. But no, I feel like, especially on the whole Rocky thing, it's just, especially like, even without callbacks, like just seeing everyone else get hyped up, or with prop bags, or with things you throw at. Don't throw it at the stage, but throw it at the stage. Or just throwing it at each other, or putting a party hat on, or all these little things that...
It's such an interactive show that it's great to see the audience participate.
And I also love how, like, because especially as Phantoms for our production, you had us go out and sign Vs for virgins on people that haven't seen the show before. And you just see, like, especially for me, I saw people from I saw people that swing left, people that swing right, gay, straight, everyone. No matter what your sexual preference, background, ethnicity, everyone is there.
And it truly is a cult classic in that regard, that it draws in every type of person, all different ranges of audiences, all different generations.
Yeah.
And backgrounds, and
yeah. It's one of those shows that people would drive.
It's crazy, yeah.
People would make the drive.
Crazy that type of show brings so many different types of people together.
I think that is definitely one of the most. That is one of the most inappropriate shows. I feel like it definitely. I mean, because it is.
Oh yeah.
But it's a fun show, and once you actually are, if you're younger, are able to watch it, or you get to, or if you're bored one Friday and you say, "Oh, someone's doing let's go watch it." It's still, no matter who you are, most of the time you're going to have a great time.
Yeah,
you really are.
At the end of the day, people are there to have fun and be entertained, and they can look past some of the more raunchy sides. Just because it's fun.
It's a great time, no matter where you're at.
It's a serious work of art or whatever. No. It's just meant to be cheesy and corny and.
Yeah, I mean, no matter if you're a Phantom or if you're a Frankfurter, every single movement you do is a great time for someone. Or even if you're an audience member,
that's everything you do. Definitely the definition of an ensemble show where every role in that show is. Fun and
I think for me, like this year, I think 2023, the second half of it, my lesson I learned from that was ensemble members matter. Ensemble does matter. I didn't because I entered local theater with creative and art starts because I was a senior. Most of the times, seniors are going to get a lead just because their voice is matured already. And then when I started doing Skyline shows, I haven't had a lead role in Skyline. I've only been ensemble or behind the scenes stuff for them. And it's still, I think Skyline definitely taught me how, like, especially as a Phantom, I like to make jokes, how I'm all that when I know I'm not sometimes. Like, after the show, I would be like, who's your favorite Phantom? Just as a joke, because I am. And a lot of times people would tell me, I'm not joking, you were actually one of them, just because you had facial expressions.
Oh, yeah.
Or like when I did Footloose, I was an ensemble member in that. People said facial expressions, or because it doesn't really matter what role you have, it's how you play that role,
and that is
how you make it your own.
The hardest thing for actors to learn is that sometimes the lead role isn't what makes the show, and it isn't the fun role.
No,
sometimes the character role, sometimes the supporting role, sometimes there's so many shows like Rocky. Hunchback's another one that are hardcore ensemble shows.
Yeah,
where the ensemble does so many different things throughout the show and carries the show.
I mean, for Footloose, I think I was on stage for 80% of the show because it's a dancing show. Or for Rocky, once you enter the stage for Phantom in the first act, you do not leave. You maybe leave to get a set piece on, but you're gone for 5 seconds and you're back on.
Yeah, and we've done a lot of what we classify as ensemble shows throughout the years, and they're great.
I think Oklahoma is definitely one of those too.
I think they're good ways for casts to bond too.
Oh, definitely.
Because they spend so much time together.
Yeah, I think definitely. Obviously, Braden Cummins has his podcast, Rocky Milan. They had a Rocky roll call for us. Braden played Brad in it, so Braden Cummins. And everyone he had on there, all the veterans, if you will, that have done the show through Skyline multiple times, have said this class was the closest. Just because doing the show, because a majority of the cast was new.
Yeah, there was
a majority of the cast was new.
Good chunk of new people this year.
And I feel like just even going up through rehearsal, you're still learning things that you didn't know you could do. You're learning things that you didn't. I think that's with every show also.
Oh, yeah. No.
I mean, for creative, we just got done with. You guys just got done with Little Mermaid, and now you guys are working on Anastasia. And I remember talking to Mitchell about it, because Mitchell Brown, he was casted as Prince Eric, and he said he wishes he would have got Scuttle, because Scuttle, who I was, which is just he's such a fun role to do. Because I just did what I want, and people laughed. And that's what I think kind of my favorite part is as an entertainer, if you will, is just making people laugh, or the things you didn't think would make people laugh. That's what I love about on stage with audience members kind of thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's definitely one of the best feelings, I feel like, personally.
It's a good adrenaline rush.
It is. So what was aside from Rocky, what was your most favorite Skyline show that you've worked on? For Skyline specifically?
Yeah.
Skyline is it's a theater
Creek
company.
Productions is one of the more, I guess, I won't say adult community theater.
Older.
But it is more geared. A lot of the shows are cast more adults than they do kids.
Because they're more serious shows
yeah,
sometimes.
a lot of times. Like, serious or just...
More mature.
More mature, yeah. For Skyline, I've worked with a bunch of different companies throughout Southern Illinois. Skyline is one of the ones I've worked with longer since they began. I'd say my favorite Skyline show. Oh, that's hard.
Either being in the show or behind the stage.
Behind the scenes. Chicago was a really great show. When we did Chicago.
How come?
That's another ensemble show. Heavy ensemble show. And that cast was so tight. And it was great to see. It's a great show. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And just to get to see that cast go, I stage managed that show. And the choreography was so tight with that cast, and the production quality of it, it was really, really well done and came well done together. And it was great to see everybody in that cast meshed really well. Yeah,
I think that's also always a good thing because you can be best friends on stage, but as soon as you're done acting, you could hate each other.
Yeah,
and I feel like that it also makes your acting harder to do and less believable.
That will come through to the stage. You can say that you're going to separate it and as much as you want, but it will always come through a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Me and Braden, for example, one night in Rocky, he said something stupid. I said something stupid to him. We were upset, but we both kind of came to the agreement like we'll be over this in a day. Let's just pause this for 2 hours so we perform. Then we talked it out right after, and we were perfectly fine. Yeah. And it's still, you can just tell it affects the performance on whatever show you're doing, kind of thing. I feel like that's definitely one of the harder challenges for actors is clashing and combining with other actors to make sure show works.
Yeah.
So does that ever happen with like behind the scenes like technical directors or like stage managers?
There's been a number of times where production team members disagree about what a scene or sometimes during casting like who to cast, and one person likes one actor, one person likes another. Yeah. And so that's always.
Was I always at your favorite in creative? You can answer
you always
honestly.
Fit right where we wanted you to.
Oh, thank you.
So, but I mean, with the production team, there's a natural hierarchy.
Yeah.
With director, assistant director, music director, stage manager, technical director.
Yeah, so there's always an order of who's input.
Yeah.
Most.
So 9 times out of 10, we'll default to whatever the director really wants to do.
Yeah.
But there will still be sometimes can be discussion. Sometimes there'll be input from different sides.
I feel like that's. I mean, you directed a few shows, right? Yeah. I feel like that's the correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like that's definitely one challenge for directors is taking everyone's input for the greater thing, because you want to have you don't want to just be like a dictatorship.
No.
You want to have everyone's input to make this great show.
You want to be able to work well with others and make it really a team effort, and you also have to be careful not to micromanage.
Yeah.
Like when you're the director, you have to be able to delegate and trust your team members
to do their job.
To do their part.
Yeah.
You have to trust that the music director is going to do their job, teach the music, do the orchestra if there's a live orchestra, and that you won't have to worry about it.
I feel like that's definitely
and the choreographer and costume designer and set designer and so on and so forth.
Yeah. I feel like that's definitely like whenever say you're not directing a show, say you're like putting together a team to make a show.
Right.
To what do they call it, a board?
If you have a board of directors for a company and they're the ones hiring the production team.
I feel like that's definitely one of the challenges for them is finding people that you can trust to do your job.
Right.
And people that won't butt heads 24/7.
Yes.
Because you need they can both be really great people. One could be a really amazing music director. One could be an amazing director.
Yeah.
But they clash heads and it just makes a horrible show.
And so at least around here, what a lot of groups will do when they're picking shows, they'll find the director first and then they will get their input on who that director would like to see help them out in those other roles.
Because some shows require certain skills and some require other ones, right?
Oh yes, I mean not all shows, depending if it's not all shows need a choreographer. not all shows need a music director. If you're doing a straight play, you may not need a music director. You may just need an assistant director and stage manager.
Yeah.
So.
And so back to the whole like. I don't know. We talked about this like your first kindergarten show. Whenever you did Willy Wonka as an Oompa Loompa, but what? So how did like where did you? How did you discover theater? Like was it around where you grew up, or like how did you discover theater?
That was a school production. So I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana. I moved there when I was 3. I was born in Michigan, but I moved to Indianapolis when I was 3, and so I was in kindergarten, and it was one of the local. It was elementary school production.
Yeah.
They were doing, and I guess I was interested in just seeing what the hell that was about.
Yeah.
So they stuck me in there,
and then you
painted
never
my face orange and went with it. But and then after that I did basically school theater for a while. There was a couple smaller like community theater organizations around Indianapolis that I did some like summer stock type theater with. And then in high school was when I got more into the opportunity to get more into the production side of things.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I wasn't cast in. I had auditioned for it, wasn't cast in, but the director was like, "Well, we still wanted you to be a part of it, and we like what you do and stuff. Would you want to be like a director's assistant or something? Come in and not full stage manager because they already had one.
Not something that they want to give you a lot of trust, but they want to give you step foot in.
Yeah, get your feet wet a little bit and kind of mentor around.
Yeah.
And so I did that for that show, and it was a fun experience, and they liked what I did, and so then from there I got more into I did stage management and assistant directing. I did lighting design for a while.
Yeah.
I was my high school's resident lighting designer for the at least 3 years while I was there. And then when I moved down here, I went to Southeastern Illinois College in Harrisburg.
Okay.
And I did all the lighting for their shows for about 3 years while I was over there.
Yeah.
So
how did you discover like Skyline? How did you discover Skyline or Creative?
Skyline, I just I knew Barb Secretario, who's the owner of Skyline. I had done some shows with her son, and she had expressed interest in wanting to do Rocky, because Rocky was the first show.
Yeah.
And then so she reached out to Derek Hamblin, who I was friends with at the time, and we did work together. Who I'm sure will be on this momentarily, I'm sure. At some point. And Derek and I had already done a number of shows together.
Yeah.
And we knew we worked well together, and so she brought me in and him in to basically work on the first Rocky.
Yeah.
And we did that together. And then from there, she's like, well, what else can we do? And Les Miserables was one of her bucket list shows, and so that was like the first first official like summer full stage production that Skyline ever did.
Yeah.
In 2013. And that was a big undertaking.
Because I mean Les Mis is a big show.
Time and for the state community theater was in Southern Illinois, that was a lot of people were like, oh, that's not going to work. You're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And they told a bunch of us that, oh, that's not going to work. You're not going to be able to do that.
But you have to ignore those and just keep going.
We got very lucky with the cast we had. We had a cast of like 45, I think. And we put on that show, and it was one for the ages for sure.
Yeah.
It was one of the most stressful things I've done because I was still fairly new to stage managing in this area.
But was it still a great show?
It was still amazing. Like at the end of the day, it was one of those moments where like you're pulling your hair out, but when showtime came, you really just stepped back and you were like, yes.
What year was that?
That was 2013.
I was 8 years old.
8 years old.
So
nice.
I don't think I did not watch that show.
Right.
I did
probably
not.
Probably not.
But so like, how was that feeling like whenever what's that feeling like whenever you were one of the first people to make this company that's this many shows in a year?
Oh, that was a great feeling. For a while, Skyline just did a summer show and Rocky, and then they eventually graduated and to add a spring show. So
what year was that? What year?
The first year they did a spring show, I think, was 2016. Their first spring show they did was American Idiot. that was one I wasn't a part
Don't
of.
wanna be an
'Cause I
American
was busy on
idiot.
another show.
Na, 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 na,
'Cause
na,
that
na.
was around the time when I created my own company as well. So, because I started my group in 2015.
What was that? What's that?
I founded 13 Theatrics, and that was a production company because I'd always wanted to produce my own stuff.
Yeah.
Too. And so I tried my hand at that for a while, and so we did 5 shows from 2015 to 2018.
Yeah.
And then we've taken a break from then, but I'm hoping to try to get back into that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I feel like that's also always just if you, especially because you've undertaken so many different jobs throughout so many companies, you kind of have to step back from some things, and I feel like it's definitely recoup, reevaluate. Then I just hit my wall, but maybe I should move the set closer.
When is this coming out? Do you have a release date for this?
It'll probably come out. You guys are probably going to hear this probably around Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Okay.
Probably.
Well, then I can divulge the secret with you.
What's the secret?
The secret, because the announcement will be coming probably in the next week or 2.
Yeah.
But I am bringing back my production company this year.
13 Theatrics?
Yes, and I am planning
Oh.
to unveil and produce a show this spring.
Actually?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Man,
Yeah.
well, to anyone that's hearing this, that's known this for like a month now,
Yeah.
I knew before all of you. So,
I'm excited about that.
do you have any idea on what that show might be at all?
Yes, I already know the show.
Oh.
It's a small show because I'm not going to go crazy for
Yeah.
the first show back.
Will it be at the Marion Civic Center?
It will actually be at the Varsity Center in Carbondale.
Oh, will it be like play or musical?
It's a musical. It's small.
Oh.
It's pre-casted, unfortunately. Sorry.
Oh, so I didn't get it.
I'm sorry you did not make it in. But
Damn it!
it's a fun show and it will be a good time.
Can I have a hint on what it is?
If you want to try. Well, I mean, everyone already knows because it's already. So,
but I don't.
When you see this.
So.
You see this.
I don't know.
I know you don't know.
So you could give me hints,
Right.
and I could try to guess.
Well, okay. So the last show we did was in 2018.
And that was Chorus Line, right?
Chorus Line.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the last show I did with my company, and now this will be now 5 years later.
Show 5. Are you doing Avengers Endgame on stage?
No.
5. Is that have something to do with it? 5 years?
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah. I can tell you that there's a nod to 5 years in the show.
5 years. See, that's it doesn't really help because there's a little weakness I have in theater.
You're probably your musical knowledge.
Because I will do a show.
Mm-hmm.
I'll audition for a show. I'll get in it. But I won't really know what the show's about.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to do... for Hunchback, I've only watched the movie when I was 7. And I found out Esmeralda died 2 days before Sitzprobe. They
didn't kill her in the Disney movie.
No, they did not kill her in the
Stick
Disney
to
movie.
The book
No.
They had
or for Rocky, I didn't know that obviously that was this one's just because it's fast lyric. Rose tit my world, keep me safe from my trouble and pain. I always thought it was Rose tit my world, keep me safe from my...
Well, there was a few years where some of the actors' enunciation was not great, so it did come out more as T-I-T versus T-I-N-T.
Or for another show, which one was it?
You know that you understand the rose tint reference though, right?
No.
Rose-colored glasses.
Yeah, I got it now.
Seeing it through those eyes, okay.
But I'm trying to remember. Little Shop. I didn't before until we had our first.
You didn't know the plant was alive.
No, I knew that. I didn't know that the plants win. I didn't know that the plants won until our first music rehearsal because everyone started singing "Don't Feed the Plants" and I was like, "Well, yeah, I wouldn't feed the plants." And then Derek explained, "No, Nick, the world's ending."
Yeah,
and I was like,
"They succeeded in the whole world domination thing."
I was like, "Oh." That's not a Disney movie. No, they don't win.
Well, it was never Disney. So
they don't win.
No. They would plants win.
But yeah, that's exciting. That really is. Good for you.
Thank you.
I'm upset that I didn't get invited though. But
maybe you can still help out in some way.
Is it standard issue?
What?
Is it standard issue?
Not standard issue. No, that I know they're planning to
do that later.
In June, I believe. sometime, but I think they're just doing a like a concert version, concert style.
Yeah. San Issue is a musical by our friends, the Diders, and they wrote it because Hank Diders was in the military, and they've been working on this for like 5 years now, or something like that.
Right. It's an
So,
original show.
that's never been done before, originally. So,
to Southern Illinois,
yeah,
which is fun.
Which was fun because I know they invited me to audition for it. Tim Robinson, he's the director of it. He was. I don't know if he still is. I think he is. Either way,
I know he's involved still.
yeah, he invited me to audition for it. I auditioned, and it was really fun because I played a part that I didn't know I would play. I'm not going to say anything because you're going to go watch it when it happens. But someone dies. Is that me or not? I cannot disclose that information. Take with that as you will.
There you go.
There you go. So can I have another hint, or can you just flat out tell me?
The show is called The Last 5 Years.
Oh, what's it about?
It is it's two people. And it's about a relationship, a 5-year relationship between this couple. And it starts... the show starts with the woman, starting at the very end of their relationship at the start of the show, and the guy starts at the beginning of their relationship.
Oh, okay.
And it follows their trajectory through 5 years. And then basically at the intermission point, they meet at the same point in time.
Oh, okay.
And then they continue on. So by the end of the show, the woman's at the very beginning of their
and he's at the end.
The guy is at the very break.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So so is it just a 2-person show?
It's a 2-person show. It's written by composer Jason Robert Brown. He also wrote Parade and.
Oh, okay.
Fun,
yeah. Do you know who those two actors are? Who are they?
I'm not going to tell you.
This information will be out already, though.
It will, but this is still top secret because I haven't announced it to anybody else.
That's fair. Nick, no one else at all?
No. Well, except for the production team.
I was like, no one at all?
No,
and the only person? Man, I was going to feel I feel special.
Aside from the production team and the cast themselves, like they're
that's
the only ones that know
crazy.
what's happening.
A trip to Disney.
Literally.
Trip to Disney earns a lot of trust, apparently. Dadgum.
So, you can't say anything until
I would never.
a post is made.
I would never, because then you would come on this podcast and just diss me nonstop.
That's very true.
So, speaking of Disney, we just got back from Disney. What?
We did.
Well,
about a week ago.
Yeah. Is that a week ago?
Almost.
That's crazy. It felt... So...
You weren't ready.
I was not.
I don't think you were ready for the experience.
I even got my shirt and I wore there.
Yeah.
Oh, it has a stain. We're going to cover that up.
Like he needed to do some conditioning and preparation to handle Disney.
So what happened was Jeff and Derek, they go to Disney 6 times a year. Because they just have that money.
No, we don't have that money. I have an annual pass and I want to get my money's worth.
Okay, so they have the money to get an annual pass, which is like $1,500, which little old Nick does not have because he is in college and he spent all of his money building this.
I was like, you all can't see what's behind it, yes, but
there's a lot more behind this.
His money is right there.
Yeah, it's all right there. With 1, 2, 3, 4 lights, 5, 6, 2 other ring lights, computer, monitor, sound equipment, too much stuff.
Somebody needed to monitor her spending habits, and they didn't.
You talking to me? Talking about me?
Somebody needed to monitor your spending habits, and they didn't.
Because I know you weren't talking about me.
Well, I mean, your spending habits weren't great.
I think they were good spending habits. I mean, look where we're at now. Anyway, back to Disney. Back to Disney.
Tangents, yay.
Awkward. Anyway, so I was not... Derek and Jeff, they like to do this thing where if they have a new person, never been to Disney, I've never been to Disney.
Get the full experience.
And when they say full experience, they mean the entire experience. I think at Magic Kingdom, there were 2 rides we didn't ride.
Yeah, about that.
I think it was Peter Pan and then...
Yeah, there was a couple shows we didn't do.
Yeah,
too, honestly, but
I mean...
We did the majority of Magic Kingdom.
And then we went to...
The majority of all 4 parks.
All 4 parks. Every land.
Nick Steinberger wasn't quite up to par.
It was not. And then, I think my thing was because on New Year's Eve, we kind of parked it at Epcot around 9 o'clock. Is that when we stopped for there?
New Year's Eve. It's one of the busiest nights of the year, so you want to stake out your spot in advance to enjoy the fireworks.
I thought we were in Florida. And I didn't think that, it's going to get 20 degrees at night.
It does occasionally get cold.
And 30 minutes later, I'm looking at Jeff going,
He's freezing.
Jeff,
He has his little light
Jeff.
SIU windbreaker to keep him warm, and that was not enough.
And so Jeff had to give. I had to give you that actually.
I was going to ask you about that tonight because you still have that sweatshirt.
I do. I took a sweatshirt.
I need it back.
And then I went to the bathroom and came back, and everyone is just freezing in this penguin huddle this.
There was about 4 of you that all kind of huddled up and just took a nap for about an hour and a half.
And then I had to stand on my 2 feet for an hour and a half. Couldn't sit down because if I sit down, I'm getting walked over. Just to watch a 2-minute fireworks show.
Can you confirm or deny that that is the most fireworks you've ever seen in your entire life?
I can deny.
Deny. That's not the most fireworks you've ever seen in your entire life. Go off at one time.
Oh, at one time.
Yeah.
I am not at the place right now to disclose that information.
Yes.
Anyway.
That means yes.
Okay. So, yes.
At midnight, it was daylight for a good
It was.
10 seconds.
It really was for 10 seconds. I couldn't imagine being in a helicopter at that moment.
No.
You will... Just don't be in a helicopter on New Year's.
Well,
for everyone out there.
I'm pretty sure that there are, like, flight regulations and things that you can't. No fly zones.
But, I mean... And so, after New Year's, I was like... Because New Year's Eve, I was already feeling bad because I've only had Disney food. I didn't know what Disney food was.
It's heavy.
It's got a lot of sugar. And I'm not eating normal food because it's all these tasty treats because it's a Disney thing, which is cool. But I didn't bring healthy food. Mm-hmm. I mean, Disney has some healthy food. Oh, yeah. But they obviously have restaurants.
One thing I'll say about Disney is it's not all your standard theme park food. They have a wide variety of restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, Epcot has
culinary
culturals.
Options, yes, and all the different wide range
cultures.
And
I didn't realize that. And so by the third day, which was New Year's Eve, I was like, I'm gonna puke. And then the next day I stayed in the hotel until Derek and Carrie, who were the other 2 people in my room, they left around like 9-10. Yeah. I left at 2.
Yeah.
And I joined you guys in Epcot. Mm-hmm. And that was that tram video that y'all have seen with promoting this podcast.
Skyliner,
that was it was a Skyliner, not tram. Yeah. That was recorded on me leaving my hotel to there because I had because one thing I love Disney about this. If you're just by yourself and it's not busy, they're going to give you your own cart.
Yep, they will.
They want to give you your privacy, which I love that because I was like,
fun.
I'm going to have a 15...
Skyliner by yourself is fun.
Yeah, it is because you get to just think... Derek told me about one time it was raining and so they had to stop the Skyliner for a minute and he just laid down on the floor there for like 30 minutes and it was super peaceful for him.
Sounds like him.
Well, it sounded peaceful.
Right. It can be peaceful, but if it does break down and stops...
Kind of spooky.
And when it's like hot out, then your breeze, because you're not moving, there's no breeze.
It goes away.
Standstill, and it gets hot in there real fast.
Because the Skyliners, they have little holes they drilled for whenever you're going through.
It's a gondola system.
A gondola system. Right. My name's Jeff, and I know what a gondola system is. What's a gondola system?
You ever gone skiing? It's kind of the same concept.
No, I've never gone skiing.
Okay.
Is it just the wind?
Well, yeah. It's just that theirs are enclosed versus a ski lift. Open. But yeah, there's a breeze if you're moving. But if
is that what it sounds like?
Not that vigorous. It's not moving that fast. It's maybe hurricane season, but
maybe it is Florida.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it was a fun trip. Mm-hmm. But I just don't think I was mentally or physically prepared.
For
I mean, you're going back in like what, 2 weeks, a week?
Yeah, we're going for a short weekend because again, what I've said, one of the things is they're always doing something different throughout the year. And they changed menus up, they changed events up, and so they're having an arts festival coming up in the later part of January and February, and so we're going to go back to see some of those.
It's been less than a month, and they're already back. Less than a month, people. Put that together. My first time ever going in 18 years, and he's going back for a second time in 1 month.
We're not doing everything that we did this first time. We're doing, like, specific niche activities for that season. And again, I'm trying to make use of that pass.
You are trying to that's
trying to be an affordable expense. I mean,
affordable.
Well, it's affordable if you use it enough.
if you use it enough.
Get your money's worth. You gotta get your money's worth.
You do get the most bang for your buck.
Exactly.
So like, back to like, so again, like you said, kind of flipping the script back to how we were before we got on the Disney thing.
Sure.
So you told me about how you starting back up 13 theatrics and whatnot. Yada. What was the reason you kind of like took a break from it, and what really made you go back into it?
Well, I mean, I originally stopped just because, mostly for scheduling issues.
Yeah, I mean, you were taking on
life kind of got in the way.
You were taking on a lot of
there
things.
Were a lot of things when 2018 was around the time I actually started at the Pavilion, so that was a new adjustment and a new job to get used to, and that was taking up a lot of my time. There were other growing theater companies in the area that I was working with, and they were doing shows too, so it became that kind of a scheduling thing of like, where can I fit everything in throughout the year?
Yeah.
And not spread myself too thin, and two, spread like the pool of actors in the community that you have to work with.
I think that's definitely one thing I learned also last year, was because I did 11 shows last year, and I think that was definitely I mean, this summer I was there was a good week where I was doing 5 shows at once, and that's not something good to do.
No. A lot.
But so like, what initially brought you? What in your mind said you're ready to bring it back? You're ready to try again. Or if I say try again,
no, you're not trying again.
Yeah, you're just ready to start back up.
Ramp it back up. I saw an opportunity. This spring is kind of a little quieter in the show, like
Southern
Illinois show theater schedule, and I'd been thinking about wanting to do it for a while. People have been asking me for a number of years, well, when are you going to do another show? When are you going to do another show? And I saw a window, and I kind of jumped at it.
Good.
And I was like, this is what I want to do.
So are you planning on like going to keep doing regular shows, or?
I would like to. Maybe not every year. Maybe it'd be an every other year thing.
Yeah.
Just kind of see what the schedule presents itself for the year.
Because how
much I'm doing with other companies.
Yeah, I mean, Southern Illinois has a ton of. I mean, if you look at it, there's Art Starts. There's, I think, about every single high school around here has a theater program.
And we are very fortunate. You wouldn't think a more rural and smaller area would have as many arts and theater opportunities as we do, and I think we're very fortunate in the Southern Illinois region.
I mean, we have a.
Things that we do.
I mean, we have a Southern Illinois University right next door, which has a fun. I mean, I'm not saying because I'm going there. If you look at like how many alumni are professional performers now, it is a very amazing music program in theater, music, stage. There's so many different things.
Yeah. You have the university. You have
Art Starts Creative,
which are two very strong children's theater groups that focus on young performers. You have 4 community colleges in the region that have strong arts programs.
Oh, we have Southern Illinois University, Red Lake.
Southern Illinois is university, but community colleges. You have 4 community colleges. Shawnee,
that's who I was thinking
Red
of.
Lake, John A. Logan, and Southeast.
And all 4 of those have
and all of them
theater.
have really strong theater groups, theater departments, honestly.
And then there's
and then you have community organizations with like Skyline, myself, 13 Theatrics, Stage Company, Pyramid Players.
Pyramid Players, that's one. There's just a lot of. It's really like even if you don't think you're that good of a performer, or if you don't think your skills are, there are still so many things like even if you're not like Jeremy Jordan, or you're not a really person, there will always be something. If you want to be involved, you
ways to get involved, whether it's behind the scenes, on the stage. Like if you're a totally green, new to the theater world performer or a seasoned performer, there will always be.
That's kind of how I was. I mean, I was doing my high school show my junior year, and an old friend of mine was like, "Hey, I'm auditioning for this summer show at SIU, Greece. You should do it." And I said, "Okay, I'll try it." And then I remember once I put my foot in the door, haven't turned back since. And I kind of, it's like, I didn't know if I would like doing local theater, and I'm going to school for it. Yeah. And it's I mean, I think one great resource to finding out when shows are happening is your Facebook thing, Southern Illinois Community Theater.
A friend of mine, Christine, and started the Southern Illinois Community Theater page group on Facebook, and then she kind of asked if I wanted to help with her with that, and so we kind of are tag teaming that, and it's become a really cool resource for all things theater stage related that around Southern Illinois, for audience members to know what's coming up, for actors to know when auditions are happening, what areas, area groups are doing, and for local groups to help each other out. Like if one group is looking for a specific prop or set piece, they can post in there and be like, hey, does anybody know where I could find whatever?
And a lot of times whenever people ask that sometimes directs you to pages dedicated just to props or just to costumes. Or I know for SAU there's a lot of film students, and that's how they get local actors. They post in that group chat page, and then you have dozens of people that will tag someone that they think would be interested or whatnot, yada yada. And then a lot of times that group also leads you to actual groups dedicated to Skyline or dedicated to creative, all these things.
And I'm a member of a couple different more nationally groups like that on a national level are resources and stuff. So it's great to have more of a regional based group that you can.
It's dedicated just to regional.
As a regional resource versus I'm a community theater group that's reaches somebody from North Dakota to California to
And even if someone just lived in Illinois and this group moved away, if they have a friend that's thinking about moving to Illinois, just show them that, or because I think
they grew up here and they want to stay up to date on what's happening in their home area.
And if they want to come back to watch the show, they know what's happening. I just hit the wall again. This time with my other elbow. Maybe this is a sign to move the set a little farther out. Anyway, but I feel like, Southern Illinois just in general, I feel like it's a good place. Everyone's kind of just so close. Everyone really knows everyone.
The theater community is a very tight-knit community in this.
And anyone can join it. That's the the best. Anyone can join it, and you can't really. You can leave it. You can stop doing shows.
You can take a break.
But everyone will still know you.
From that, and that can be a
blessing and a curse.
Blessing and a curse, yes, because everyone knows everybody.
Everyone knows,
how everybody else works.
It
can, what kind of pool you have to work with usually.
And
picking a show.
And you kind of have to, whenever you join, if you want to start doing more and more and more, you kind of got to, slither your way up to there, kind of. You just have to ask people. People say you have to slither your way up there, but you just have to ask if you can help more.
Yeah.
I remember.
You just gotta ask yourself out there.
I remember being in the choir for Hunchback, and I remember asking you, "Hey, do you need help for?" I overheard someone saying it, and you said you need help for backstage workers for Beauty and the Beast, and you said, "Oh, yeah." And then that was my way of stepping foot into creative, and then from creative into art starts, then from art starts to all these things,
and they're all connected because a lot of us work with multiple groups. And so a lot of us either have, know other people in other groups that are friends with them, or we've worked with that group before, so we share information, share items, share actors sometimes.
Yeah. But I think that's Southern Illinois is just really good for community theater. I think I don't remember where it was. I saw it some point a few months ago. I was just scrolling through Facebook, popped up, and it was just good states for community theater, and Southern Illinois was in the top 10 in the country. Just because I don't remember. I'll have to look to find it again. But just because of how many for all ages, because I think there's maybe one or two schools around here that don't offer theater in some form of some. I know Cobden,
a music department or an arts department.
I know Cobden, they have to do their shows at the Varsity in Carbondale, but they still have a program.
Right? Yeah, not all schools have a stage at their school. They have to go off site for their shows, but it's great that they still offer something. Because
with defunding of arts or do it after COVID, all these things shut down. Southern Illinois still kept the music strong. Yeah, I feel in a way it kind of made it even stronger. I feel like
Oh, yeah.
because it made all these people realize people still want to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we try that out?
Yeah, it's great to see that people realize that there is a need for it.
Yeah.
And it is just as beneficial and necessary as the other disciplines in your curriculum within schools.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's a good stopping point.
That's great.
Just because I feel like we talked about a lot.
We've jumped around a lot. I feel
we have, but I mean, it's been good jumps. Good job.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll have you back on at some point because there's still dozens more of stuff we could talk about.
Yeah, we can go
from Skyline or whatever.
20 plus more tangents, I'm sure.
Let's do a 20 episode series with Jeff Kiesler coming to you soon. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me, Jeff. Really do appreciate it, and I hope you yeah. Have a good night. Bye-bye. All right. Let's hope
Let's hope you're better.
Yes. Holy crap, Jeff, 55 minutes.
I was like, we were talking like, this has gone on